Welcome to the Third Win channel. Today, for the lovers of the American Pie franchise, I present to you the Stiflers ranked. I have here 8 Stiflers that I thought were worth mentioning, and we're going to be ranking them. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, the absolute worst Stifler in the universe. I debated heavily between these two, and I think I'm going to have to give it to Stephanie. And this might seem, quite wrong putting, one of the only kind of young female Stifler at the bottom, but it wasn't really her fault. It was the awful writing and just portrayal of what a female Stifler would be like. It comes off more like a Disney movie than an American Pie movie, and that really degrades her character and the whole family's kind of thinking. I think it could have been done way better, and it just turned out to be a really heartless movie, and unfortunately, that will also bring down her character a lot. I debated pretty heavily between 7 and 8, but I don't have much more to say about the Stifler other than it didn't captivate me or interest me in any way, where other Stiflers I at least have some way to kind of, I don't know, not relate necessarily, but there's something interesting that I can get into with their character. Moving on, number 7, I have to put Scott Stifler from The Book of Love. Was like the first Stifler that to like really annoy me. Like his the iconic Stifler jokes and kind of pokes at his friends and classmates are classic and great. But his were just toned down on the kind of crazy level, and they were more like childish. Can I say that? And he just came off as an annoying Stifler. I think that's the most kind way to put it. The only redeeming factor for him was at the end where and also he got humiliated by that moose. That was funny. And I think that moose was the only redeeming factor for the Stifler because at the end he kind of, you know, he he turns out to be a pretty sensitive Stifler, and he's putting all of this up for show, which isn't really Stifler like. But what did come out of it was like a heartfelt conversation and some honesty, which was interesting to see. But nonetheless, he's still off. He's not quite Stifler material, I just think that there is better. Moving on at number 6, I have Eric Stifler, who is the oddball of the family, the one who is actually tended towards being more normal, but he is a pretty big loser, and he commits some foul things, such as what he did to his grandma. But still looks up to his, I guess his cousin, Dwight. So he still wants to be more like his cousins and brothers and family, but he just isn't quite there. Um, and he gains confidence throughout the movie, which is interesting. But overall, he suffers the same problem as Stephanie, where I just think he's really uninteresting, and I don't really want to get into his character, and I don't really want a movie that's led on Eric Stifler. I think they could have casted better as well. So not much more to say there. Quite an interesting, number 5 is going to be Mr. Stifler, Eric's dad. Although this is, a bit. Also, another thing I should mention: Eric got 2 movies. That's stupid. I don't know why. He was not interesting enough to get 2 leading movies for himself. Moving on, we have Mr. Stifler, who I thought was just funny. In the kind of not disrespect, but kind of feeling of dishonor of having this son. I don't know. I know that sounds pretty bad, but I thought it was funny. All the kind of jokes back and forth about him not being a real Stifler and blah blah blah. That's a bit of a joke. I included him there. He's not like really a main character. Moving on, we have our number 4 pick, who is Dwight Stifler. I thought that this one was done in a way where he fully kind of captures that Stifler vibe, but he's also not an asshole to everyone. You know, he's kind of more of a hero, which was an interesting take. You know, and he was a hero. He was one of his nickname was the Iron Liver and the what was it, the Naked Mile King, and you know, he was a real leader and a hero, which is a great, I think, uh, derivative of someone in the Stifler family. And I think the only thing that brings him down is just he doesn't have that same humor, and his lines don't land as effectively. I think that's mostly just delivery from the actor. Nothing against it, but it just doesn't land the same. But I do think, you know, from this list, Dwight is the first one that I really enjoy, and I can really call Stifler. Moving on, we have Mrs. Stifler, number three, who just by her name alone is legendary. You know, almost coining the word MILF. Um, and all I have to say is she is legendary and she lives on forever. And you know, Paul Finch is a lucky guy. Moving on, we have our top two, and some might be surprised to see Matt up here, but it's for me. This is a really close race. I think that Matt is the best spin-off off of the original Steve Stifler, his younger brother, in fact, which you know makes a lot of sense since he is the most like Steve. He is the funniest apart from Steve, and he picked up his mannerisms, I think, perfectly. Some people say he exaggerated them, but I thought just seeing him from the original movies and then growing up into band and going, you know, being in the movie Bandcamp, I thought he was awesome. I love how he had this amazing redemption, which took, you know, many tries and many kind of errors, and his relationships with his newfound friends, I thought was great, while still keeping that kind of Stifler feel. I don't know how to explain it, but Bandcamp is, to be honest, I think it's like top three favorite American Pie movies, and the reason is the Stifler lead is just perfect. So he's my number two, and I don't think I need to explain myself too much when I say Steve Stifler is the number one. He is the original. He is the funniest. He is the craziest. He has, you know, the best redemption story with his friends, Jim, Oz, and the crew. And I love how they wrapped it up in Reunion as well. And I can't wait to see them continue this saga and see what Steve's kid, the next Stifler, might be like. And this, I don't, like I said, I don't think I need to explain why Steve is at the top. But yeah, that's it. That's my list. I really enjoy this franchise, and I'd like to hear what you guys think. What would your order be? What did you think of the newest edition, The Girls' Rules? I thought it sucked. But yeah, not gonna waste any more of your time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like this style of content because it lets me know that you like it. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys soon.